Commissioner, today there was a passionate plea of President Juncker about our FRONTEX, our situation. So he needs more specialists, he needs more experts. It looks like states are not able to deliver what they promised. What's the way out of this our stalemate?
Well, there's only one answer to this, and that states have to deliver. Some states have delivered, some states have really exceeded what you could expect of them. I just want to quote Austria, which put at the disposal of the agencies more than 100 people, which for a relatively small state is quite a large number. But we need to see more experts come from the member states to reinforce FRONTEX and the European Asylum Support Office.
But what happens meanwhile, because it looks like the crisis is going on, that what we see on television is really terrifying people?
Well, we keep on working very hard, building up capacity in Greece, trying to come to an agreement with Turkey on a number of aspects in the action plan we've agreed with Turkey. So we continue working very hard to make sure that this problem can be tackled. We can't solve the refugee crisis as long as the war is going on in Syria, but we can try and find ways of tackling it jointly with our partners in the EU and outside of the EU as well.
Does it mean that the security of the citizens has been still compromised in this situation? Because if there's a flow of migrants and they are not controlled, we don't know who is who, and our people are really scared that there might be people from Daesh.
Well, I think if you had terrorist intentions, I think the worst way of coming to Europe would be to join the flow of refugees. There are much easier ways of reaching Europe if you really have bad intentions. Having said that, I think we need to do a better job, and we need to do it quickly in fingerprinting and registering everybody who presents himself at the external borders of the EU. It is improving. It's improving quite swiftly, but it's not good enough yet. We need to make sure that everyone who presents himself at the borders of Europe is quickly identified by fingerprinting and by registering.
What is quickly for you? What's the time?
Well, I think within hours. I think this should happen within hours or days at least. But people should not wander off into the European Union without prior registration, and that's what needs to be done. That's why we're setting up hotspots. That's why we're helping frontline states like Greece.
And what about the strategy? So every year there will be a million of people, because there are 51 million displaced and refugees along European borders. So what's your strategy on all these unfortunate people who are accumulating around?
Well, first of all, I think this is unpredictable. You cannot predict how many people might come. Secondly, as I said before, this crisis will not be over soon. It will be with the European Union for many, many years. Thirdly, we need a comprehensive approach. We need to do a better job at protecting our external borders. We need to make sure that people who are refugees are treated with human dignity and get the international protection they deserve. And we need to do a much better job at returning people who are not refugees but migrants and now abuse the asylum system to stay in Europe. These people need to go back to the countries where they came from. We need to implement these policies swiftly. It's very complicated because it was neglected for many, many years. But if we do it swiftly, we can come to terms with this crisis.